Joining me now, psychotherapist Kelly Kidley. Life's too short to surround yourself with unhealthy people. So how do you recognize that in your friends?
A big indicator of that is the repeated patterns and being able to distance yourself and put boundaries in place, because people are triggering other people all day long and projecting a lot of their own insecurities.
Therapy, Kelly, can really help.
Either individual therapy, couples therapy, group therapy. There's so many options out there. And I love telling people we're not responsible for our first thought. It's the preceding thoughts that we're responsible for.
Oh, I like that.
Well, I was a binge drinker, and so I would go out and drink with friends. I met my husband at my parents' bar. Drinking was so normalized in my world, and I didn't know anybody who didn't drink. So it changed for me when I did have kids at home, and I went from binge drinking to drinking every day just to manage. And I would switch my drinking. I thought, oh, it's the wine. You know, that makes me too tired. I had read in People magazine that if I drank tequila, it would be an upper. So I started drinking tequila.
I believe that too. Is that wrong?
Is that not right? It worked. I got laundry done. I could stay up later. But the insanity of it, of trying to manage and control my drinking. And I didn't have a rock bottom moment. And I think that that's really important for people to hear, because my progression went from binge drinking to drinking every day. And I had a 6, a 4, a 2-year-old, and a 6-month-old at home. And today my kids are 12, 10, 8, and 6. And they celebrate my sober anniversary with me every year. And they make me a cake, and they sing happy anniversary, and they just say that they like mom better without alcohol. I think it's a culture that is really normalized in our society, but it can also carry over into gray area drinking or problematic drinking. And if people have a history of any kind of substance abuse in their family or mental health issues like anxiety or depression, it can be used as a coping mechanism. We need to recharge, reset, unplug, and make sure we put our oxygen mask on first. We balance so many different things and spin so many plates in the air trying to manage just life on a daily basis. So having something to look forward to and being able to come back feeling refreshed is so important. It helps not only us, but it helps the people around us. In my practice, I work with a lot of high functioning people who are working 16-hour days, and this idea of self-importance of, I can't take the time, people need me, or I'm gonna get behind, and recognizing you're not that important, and not putting that much pressure on yourself, that everybody deserves a vacation, and being able to carve that time out. It's great to be able to go away for a week or 2 weeks. That's really a luxury. But even if you can get away for a weekend, the benefits are so great. You know, we need to look at different ways that we express our love in our relationships, whether it's emotional intimacy or physical touch or quality time. But most people who are having great sex aren't really talking about that either, because it tends to be such a taboo topic. But especially if there's any dysfunction going on. And typically we think of dysfunction as male dysfunction, you know, erectile dysfunction. But a lot of women experience sexual dysfunction as well. Low libido, difficult time having orgasms.
There are so many women that I work with individually and that I have spoken to in my personal life who haven't healed from a traumatic experience like this. And there's so much shame associated with that. Really wanting to provide hope that healing can happen, and that there is such a better life of hope and optimism and serenity when somebody can work through the trauma, and that it isn't a woman's fault or a man's fault or anybody's fault who has had any of these experiences with sexual violence. Sometimes there's a lot of shame behind asking for help, because maybe the survivor had been under the influence or had agreed to go back to somebody's apartment, and so feeling like they are at blame and not wanting to share that with anybody, so they suffer in silence. We do know as professionals in this field that the sooner somebody seeks help, the easier their recovery can be.